Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
It's we three are back, and this time we are looking at the best firstborn to Primaris upgrades with regards to GW models.
As
Now,
opposed to the non-GW Primaris upgrades.
Oh,
Yes.
there are plenty of those.
There are plenty of those. But before we get sidetracked,
Yeah, we are looking at named characters, or in the
Not named
instance
characters.
of the Emperor's Champion, like a specific role. Yeah, so what we have here is a picture of the Rubicon River and a bridge going over it, because I thought it would be a nice visual joke, but a lot of people wouldn't recognize it as the actual Rubicon.
yeah, it took me a while to work out what was going on there. And I'm like, I get it. That must be the Rubicon. I've got no
It
idea.
is. It kind of looks a bit like a ditch, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
always...
it's picturesque, but it's not as big as I thought it would be. It's not like
Yeah.
that was a difficult thing to cross.
See, all Caesar had to do was go over the bridge. I mean, like 20 seconds maximum. He could have sprinted across it in 5.
Well, you don't even have to go along the bridge. His army would have to go in single file then. You could just walk across that thing. You'd just get your socks wet.
Well, they didn't wear socks, did they? So
Sandals, see?
that's probably it. It was just for the river crossings. Anyway, shall we crack on?
Yes.
Yes, we shall start with Dante.
Hey, golden boy.
Yeah, who has recently been replaced, but that has been the current model for Dante since 1995.
It's showing its age, definitely, but it's still a good model, still a classic.
It is. And it's like I've got this in fine cast sat waiting to be painted, and the detail on it for a miniature of that age is absolutely spectacular. What I really love about this model is the face. He's got that sort of death mask look, that sort of blank death expression. With all those pipes coming out of it, and it looks almost like it's like carved in marble. I love it. It's just so evocative of
I will
the
say, the death mask thing is like, it has its mouth open because that looks cool on a mini, but at the same time, like, you got to think, did Sangridius die just like mouth gaping open, like tongue lolling out?
I think most people kind of die. Your jaw kind of drops.
I guess,
They tend to like sew your lips shut and everything. It's
I think
quite
it'd be
grim.
Solomon closed and that, but no.
Yeah.
He died going, oh.
Yeah.
I like how the little node on the power axe is a little skull as well.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine, because they were sculpting these at like 1-to-1 scale.
Oh yeah, I
at
think
the
this
time
was before they started on the 3-ups.
Yeah.
I thought they always did the 3-ups.
Maybe they did, but I thought they introduced that like late 90s after this sculpt was done.
Yeah.
Maybe. I remember reading something about it, and they were sculpting a Land Raider, the new Land Raider, out of cardboard and or poster board and green stuff, and then they showed the guy using some tool to reduce it.
That was a little later than this, I think. I'm not too sure of the exact chronology. That could be a good subject to go into some other time.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how it's changed over the years. But the detail on this, if it was like sculpted at 1-to-1,
and I hate his stupid tiny base. And I hate his stupid tiny base.
He is on the 25mm there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everything was on a 25mm base back then. Those were the only round bases that GW did back then. Anything bigger than that, you wanted a dreadnought on a base, you had to grab like a 40mm square one.
Hey, if you go to most other manufacturers, everything's still on a 25mm base, so...
most other manufacturers are still at 28mm scale.
Yeah. Okay, shall we have a look at his recent...
Let's see the glow up.
The last couple of weeks, he's just been released like this.
Woo! He is
Well, I think he was released in grey plastic in lieu of something somebody else ordered.
Well, he's up on the Games Workshop website for sale, so...
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
sorry, I mean that I'm joking about how the first release was a leak.
Yeah.
His little skull on the axe is gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
they took it in this. I
didn't notice that.
Yeah. See, it is in every way a more sophisticated and detailed model, but there's one thing that's bugging me, and his face. He's got like a sort of a sneer going on, as opposed to the emotionless, like, serenity of death type.
Yeah, his mouth's not as wide open, but it is still this kind of like, it's almost like scrunched up, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's nitpicking because it's an absolutely gorgeous model.
Also, like, the evolution of non-metallic metal in the Heavy Metal Painters team is amazing. I remember when the first Sanguinius, the first Dante came out, and it had the first Games Workshop like main model done in NMM, and it was very orange gold. It didn't look too much like gold, but you look at this now, and it's absolutely stunning.
It is. Ah.
I like the proportions of the jetpack on this one better.
Yeah.
And I think I like the weapon proportions as well better, but I'm not happy about that either.
It just all makes sense, and he's got a more kind of heroic figure than that bandy-legged thing that the original has going on.
Yeah, there wasn't with the original. They were quite new to like dynamic movement in their sculpting, and also, of course, the limits of casting it in a 2-part mold. Whereas now it's all like done on CAD, and they split it all up so it can. I mean, I think
the seam lines and the proportions they do now are amazing.
Yeah.
You gave me some I got you to print some STLs that, looking at them afterwards, you scaled them up to something like 75 because there was no other way they were going to work.
Yeah.
And looking at them, the artist really didn't consider like how you would actually print this thing. And it's like, oh, that's why Games Workshop models have what Peter's now calling puppy proportions of their feet and hands being big.
Yes. Anyway, what we got
Shall
next?
we move on? We're sticking with the Blood Angels. Oh, no, we're not. We're
No,
not.
we're not.
No, we're
It's
not.
a Blood Angel.
Oh, no, we're not.
So it's an Angel of Death, but...
Yes, I'm very familiar with this sculpt, having painted him, like, last week.
You just released a video on him.
And, yeah, which no one watched, so...
Oh, you got a few watches.
So him being on a 25 seems okay. He was definitely designed for that size of base. And the Watcher is just rocking it on a 25, I think.
Yeah. I mean, for my one, I put them both on the same 50mm scenic base to fit in with, like, you know, modern gameplay. But yeah, it's what I love about this pose is it's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just saying that because I didn't change it.
I mean, well, when we actually get round to looking at, you know, the new version, there is so much that has been kept from this. They've been so faithful to the like characterization of it, and I think that really works because even though the model is obviously simpler and it's in a smaller scale because of the time it was made, obviously, it's still a very iconic pose. It's like 3 different types of poses you can have. You can have an action pose, a standing ready pose, and a triumphant pose. And this is like the proper like triumphant pose.
Yeah. It's a very classic one. Like the massive gun really helps to sell it. Especially that's I believe it's called like bullpup, having the magazine behind the grip like that.
Yeah, it's like the British Army. They use the SA-80, which has the same like magazine arrangement.
I guess it's weird in that it kicks back differently and you should never do it. And armorers hate it because it's such an unusual design. The machinery isn't really as comfortably accustomed or developed to the people designing them, and they break down more often. And yes, I read too much of this information when I was like 14.
Okay.
But yeah, it's visible. It makes more sense if you are designing something like this and haven't seen it in real life and don't have like some ammo boo to talk to, and you're like, well, where would the bullet? Why don't we put the bullets in that big chunky part? But I guess it moves where when the bullet goes off, it kicks the gun back, and that moves where that sort of center of inertia is in such a way that since most people who use guns are used to that being in front of their wrist, when it's moved back behind it, they get confused and don't have the right instincts for it.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
All of which doesn't matter because
Doesn't
these are
defeat
rocket
power
launchers,
armor.
not guns.
Exactly. When this was made, it was very much the thing in like 40k lore that the bolt gun was a self-propelling. The bolt ammunition was a self-propelling missile, like a tiny grenade. So it didn't really need like anywhere for the shells to fly out. But now it's different. They changed it so that it's cased ammunition, but it's still a rocket within the case, which is why like bolters from like 3rd edition onwards had like a I don't know what you call it, like a vent on the side for the shells to.
Okay.
Some dumb thing somewhere that the reason the shells can exist is that it's still caseless ammunition. It's just an igniter cap now. And like, dude, I'm sure that works as a taxonomy of grown-up real-world firearms, but
okay, well,
just admit you thought it was cool.
It was cool.
I think that should be the rule.
No, his little Under Armour here is white, and I hadn't noticed that before today.
Yeah, let's move on, and here he is now.
Hey, wait, his Under Armour changed color!
Oh dear.
I keep picking out on little details and then finding out they're wrong.
This is a lovely model. Lots of changes.
Not as many as a lot of the others on the list. The gun, obviously, he's got the side magazine instead.
They've listened to the ammo booze.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
The helmet, you get the option of the this is the helmeted version, but you get the option of the bear head with the Watcher holding the lion's helm, whereas now it's the Watcher holding the scabbard for his sword. The banner is identical to the
That's
previous
all free-handed, isn't it?
No, it's got a relief on it. There's no way I would have been able to do that freehand.
Yeah.
Was the old one a relief banner, or was that a sticker that you do freehand?
Yeah, well, what the interesting thing there is if we go back up. Now here, that is a relief banner.
Okay.
But that was not the backpack and banner that was originally released with Azrael. That came about at some point later on, and I'm not sure when. Maybe a listener who knows better can tell us. But it was a.
Did Games Workshop update a model and not tell anyone?
I mean, everything else is the same sculpt, but it was a case of it was just like the bare banner pole, and then I think they started doing like specific banners and stuff.
Well, they were all just paper banners in the codex at that time. I'd completely forgotten, but yeah, they must have added that at some point.
Yeah.
Wonder when that was.
I thought they only updated rule books without telling anyone.
Okay, well, yeah, but if you look at those two, it's absolutely spot on. The pose, he's got that sort of stoic, victorious pose, and Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I may actually have to get this one.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
He's got an extra purity
Moving
seal.
on then, yeah.
Yeah, let's move on, and hopefully, there he is.
Hey,
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Another second edition sculpt.
Oh, this was just a classic, the Lord of Death. I mean, it just had everything, like the beautiful Mark Gibbons artwork that inspired it, and like this model was just like the massive collar, like ridiculously way too high collar.
It's so vampire. In fact, if you look at the chest armor with that sort of like crossbanding,
I know where that's from.
That is from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh yes, yeah.
The one where they hired the costume artist from out of like Japanese cinema and purposefully told them, he, her, they, I can't remember, purposely told them, don't watch old horror movies, don't watch old vampire movies. We want you to read the script and come up with something different.
No, it is. Oh God, it is the stereotypical like power armored vampire, basically.
Yeah, and it's a design classic. This is another one that lasted for ages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when was the Primaris one? When did that come out? It's like 3 years ago, was it?
Oh God, is it that long ago now? You're probably right, but it seems like only yesterday.
I think it was during the later end of 8.
Who's this character named again? I'm drawing a blank.
Mephisto.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean,
2020.
2020?
It's in his URL on the web store. His like product ID is Mephiston Lord of Death 2020.
Okay, well, shall we have a look at Mephiston Lord of Death 2020?
Let's see what he's like.
Oh, sorry, the
now.
new one is 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know who this computer guy is.
Oh, this one is this was also 1995.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they because it was when the
Angels of Death Codex.
Angels of Death Codex, yeah, where we got the first versions of all the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels characters. I think the model of Ezekiel from the Dark Angels is still the second ed sculpt that's on the web store.
I want to say this pose looks great, fine, whatever. An artist knew what they were doing, but it was. I'm gonna guess this was really a pose that was constrained by the technology at the time.
Oh, yeah, it was a very flat one, obviously, because it's all on one level and there's no extra bits put on. I don't think. Maybe the sword was a separate piece.
I think the sword
was. There's no way that's coming out of a 2-part mold.
Yeah.
But the expression on the face, the way that is sculpted, is beautiful. Shall we see what he looks like now?
Yeah, give him the glow up. Hey,
and he is mad.
Straight out of the artwork. That could not be any closer to it if they tried.
That is absolutely stunning.
They don't seem to have the skulls on the edges of his cape.
I think.
I mean, that is a pretty cool detail.
I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that's why I haven't bought it.
That's possibly the only thing you could pick up on. There's probably small bits here and there, but I think it stays really true to the spirit of the model.
Yeah.
Like, especially like the color is still ridiculously high. Like, it doesn't need to be that high, but it is.
I like that they kept the little temple noggins, whatever, except the wires are detached now, I guess, because he's a Primaris.
Yeah.
And he's got a book. So I like that he has a book.
Yeah, well, he's got to do something in between battles. Yeah, just sit and have a quick read. I'm not a fan of like the modern trend of like bright yellow piping on librarians.
They've had that on like all librarians though to some degree or another.
Yeah, but it's they're just really sort of calling attention to it.
If anybody doesn't want the Mephiston book, it comes off and they can send it to me. I'll stop now.
I mean, but yeah, again, it's nitpicking, but I'm just not a fan of like those tubes being
Well,
being bright yellow.
I
But
love this model, and I'd
yeah.
love to paint it at some point if I ever get a chance to. Just like the lines of the flowing cloth is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So well.
I can't see if the details on like the hems are freehand or if they are actually.
I'm looking
They
at
are
the
freehand.
sprue. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amy's right. Yeah.
I read an interview with the painter who did it, and he was saying, "Oh, it was my first try at freehand on cloaks, so I had a lot to live
Yeah.
up to."
Well, he did a fantastic job.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, the composition for the whole model is absolutely stunning. Like I say, it's like a painter's choice about the yellow piping that I don't like, but the model itself is absolutely stunning. I'd say he's definitely one of the best character models that GW has at the moment.
Absolutely.
Across all the ranges and all the games.
Adding all the little bits of blue that they did works really well here.
Yeah.
Don't think the old one had any blue. I think the plasma was green, but they've just scattered it about, and it helps to break up the model into looking like it's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, they hadn't really standardized like plasma glow and such back then.
Well, I thought they had, and it was always green. And now they've it's blue unless it's Space Marines, in which case it's green. Or it's blue unless it's Ultramarines. Ultramarines, Space Marines, we all...
No, I
think what's the line? How can you say I'm only a Space Marine player? I painted 200 points of Black Templar this weekend.
Because Chaos, at least Black Legion tends to have it orange on a lot of their stuff. So, yeah, they do alter it around a bit. But yeah, they've got this, what they've done is like, there's a nice triads of that blue. So you can see it's like, it's in the face, it's in like two places. So it kind of forms a triangle starting at the head, and that causes you to look towards the head, along with all the flowing lines of the cloak and the collar kind of pointing down to that central area and framing the face. So it's a really good job with composition.
Yeah, love it. Right, shall we move on?
Yes.
Helbrecht
needs a fix for his little tiny feet. Little feet, tiny base, little feet.
This was like third edition when I was out of the hobby, so I don't have any connection at all to this model. It's cool for the time.
Yeah.
It's like got its problems, and I can't see.
What chapter is he?
He's very stumpy.
He's Black Templar.
No. He's gold. He's gold. He can't be Black Templar. What chapter is he?
It's some great ideas, and they've practically thrown the kitchen sink at that.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
There is a lot going on there, and it doesn't look overly cluttered, which is a criticism I have for a lot of the, a big chunk of the newer stuff.
I think I'd have been in the hobby at the time, I would have thought that's an amazing model and bought it, because it is very cool. There's lots going on, but it hasn't aged well, and with no kind of nostalgic attachment to it, it just kind of leaves me cold.
Yeah, I mean, I think if his legs had been a little bit longer, it would have been fine. It's just a bit too broad across the shoulders for such legs.
If he'd been in like a goblin pose, or he had like the 80s goblins had their knees at like 90-degree angles.
Oh yeah, like the present day orc boys, or at least one of the ones they sell.
The ones everyone keeps complaining they have to stop using and we have to throw out because they have scoliosis, and it's like, so they're supposed to be idiots. Yeah, no, I think with his legs spread out like that, it would counteract what you're noticing. It would probably counteract my frustration with him.
I'd say very top heavy.
Yeah,
he's got a V shape.
I mean, the legs look cool. I like the banded Mark II armor and the detail they've got on it with the rivets. It's really nice. The legs just should have been a little bit longer, and yeah.
He's got some keys and a smoky thing in his left hand as well that I haven't noticed before. And candles on his power pack.
Yep. I've just printed out a load of candles to put on my Spartan for the Deathwing, which
Nice.
should hopefully look quite good. Right, shall we see him with his glow
Without
up?
candles, without the smoky thing, without the rivets, without all those little details we just picked out, they're going to be gone, aren't they?
Well, we'll find out in just a second.
Oh, wow.
He's still got the Mark II banded leg up, or
Hate it.
The Mark II.
Whole model crap.
Just
got his
seeing it
candle.
after that one, like I hadn't seen this model in a while, and just the immediate like smack in the face. Wow, that is better. That is amazing.
Yeah, but it's also very faithful to the.
Looks
yeah.
Shouldn't look like that.
I mean, he seems to have gained a servitor to carry his combi melter, and another one to wipe the blood off his hip.
I believe
Which
this is from
shouldn't
another
be
piece of
red.
artwork.
That's why it's so dumb. There's red orc blood.
Now, Games Workshop have said like orc blood should be green, but for painting purposes, it's always been red because it contrasts better. It would just look rubbish if you had to paint green blood on green skin, honestly.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I would have thought like orcs would have like a sort of black blood. But mind you, that's more of a Tolkien-esque thing. And
yeah.
So he's got his two little servitors. So it's a thing about it's almost like a diorama scene, which we haven't had with the others. I mean, I think it all works together really, really nicely. I'm just wondering if it's not a bit overly.
It is very busy.
It is quite busy, but it's not.
So was the old one.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's basically it's like all the details of the old one, but stretched over a larger frame.
I think it would be a little easier to paint than the old one.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on?
Yep. Let's see what's next.
Romaldus and his retinue.
Hey, these guys.
Love this. This is grimdark.
I know. I never knew
Turned
about
up to
these at
11.
the time, and then one day scrolling the website, I stumbled across them and was like, "What the hell are these?" They're awesome.
So he's got his like retinue. He's got one servitor lugging a big stone aquila. I'm not sure what the guy in the top middle does, but then this dude's got a banner and a.
He punishes.
I mean, I'm the guy
he
on
fumes with rage.
That attachment on his forearm looks very much like certain things that are not safe for work.
Yeah, it looks so much like the sensors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take them into the office. You could start a fire.
It depends where you work, I suppose. But yeah, the detail on him is absolutely fantastic.
Cool.
I mean, I'm not sure if this is 3rd or 4th edition. Because I kind of dropped out beginning of 3rd and sort of dropped back in beginning of 6th. So 4th and 5th were not, they were not my editions. But yeah, it's like the chains and the overflowing robes and parchments and everything.
So they show their age, but they're so characterful and such like inventive sculpt, it almost doesn't matter.
No, it's fantastic. Shall we have a look at him now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the census guy is now census guy.
Yeah.
He's got a normal census because of course he does.
Yeah, it's a little less kind of out there.
Yeah.
Still carries a lot of the core themes, but they don't feel as much as just like this band of wandering absolute freaks as like, they've actually got some kind of gravitas to them, which
I mean, that banner looks amazing, but I think Grimaldus
true.
himself.
Oh yeah.
Grimaldus himself, it's like they haven't quite recreated the character that the previous one had.
I think
he's not as striking and as stand out immediately. As soon as I clicked over, my eye wasn't drawn to him; it was drawn to that amazing banner.
I think he looks better with these more anatomical proportions, sort of, for like. But I can definitely see on the old one, it's crazy and out there in terms of. I don't know. They're both good, but I appreciate your point.
Yeah,
but if I had to pick,
I would say about Grimaldus, like the mask, like with the teeth on it, is still really scary. But he's lost something of that kind of like almost demented feral look he had before. Like with the thing strapped to his wrist, it's almost like it was his hand, and he's just like going absolutely. He looks like Hornby the Betrayer. Sorry.
The old census guy with census with incense burning fists. He's Fume Fist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's lost some of that kind of like bestial feel to Grimaldus, and I think he should have a bit more kind of aggression in him.
Yeah.
Looking at them, it does look like the old one is sort of being tied down and held down by those ribbons. And in this one, the parchments are just decorations. Also, he has a cooler belt buckle here.
Mm-hmm.
And a book. Oh, wait, no, sorry, new guy's got a book as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that banner, that is what draws my eye. The banner / gibbet is very much...
I'd like the column carrying servitor more.
Oh yeah, that's
but
cool.
I think that's pretty much just a technology improvement.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think those two servitors are an improvement. This dude, he seems to have grown his arm back.
It's probably replaced.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the sensor fists. That's a really cool.
Yeah, I imagine it probably looked a bit silly when they were trying it out, but it's a cool detail, and I wish they'd kept it. You can always convert that back in, I guess.
Yeah.
I do like the little icon sword thing held up on Grimaldus's backpack here more than the same sword on the previous one, even though it's got that magic special purity seal I've never seen before. Or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it looks like a purity seal. But
it's difficult to tell at a glance what that is.
That's a sword.
Yeah.
But
it is. But like I say, it's like at a glance, because it's got the purity seal on the front, because the hilt seems to be through that skull, and there's candles all around it. It looks more like a Templar cross.
Yeah, I did not know that was a sword until we looked at the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on?
Go for it.
Okay. Now, he's not a named character. I don't think he's a named character, but that is like a role that he.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like specific battlefield position, basically.
Yeah, there's like only one of them at any given time, type sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think that's also the same era as like Helbrecht and Grimaldus when they first came out.
Now this is just classic cool.
It is.
I
got the other one and I like it, but
it's that steely glare that even though he's wearing a mask and those aren't his eyes, the way that it conveys that expression.
Oh yeah.
Sort of contemptuous
determination and contempt. Yeah. I really like just how unadorned the armor is, and yet looks so good.
Yeah.
So this guy and Grimaldus, I think, were using the same technology, but this guy suits his proportions a lot better than Grimaldus.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, sorry. That's all true about Grimaldus as well as High Marshal Helbrecht.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the proportions here, the legs do appear to be longer. So he's got more of like
legs are longer, the chest is bigger. But I think he suits the shape of the figure and the 25 millimeter base.
Just really nicely proportioned.
Yeah, and with the pose as well, that salute giving.
Yeah, watch just like Darren Latham comments on the video. Yeah, it was one of my last model projects I sculpted myself before doing. Thanks, glad you.
Well, we can hope.
Shall we see what he looks like now?
Yeah.
Still good.
Almost exactly the same. I mean, there's
pose.
slightly different pose.
Very different pose. Well, I'd say very different pose. But...
Well, he's twisting his body more, and there's more action in it.
Yeah, and he's broader in the chest and like around the calves. So he's.
But when you just flick between them like that, they look very similar at first glance.
Yeah.
I think the other one's much more calm, and this has much more of this sort of I'm in the middle of something and you're not going to stop me energy. This the left hand in this is like actively curled and doing something, and I feel like in the other pose is just sort of wagging loose in the wind. His accessories, his charm bracelet, charm buckle, charm belt. That's it. Charm belt is wagging as well, and his little horns have stuck up.
I still don't know how I feel about this new Primaris thing of like the like loincloth is actually like coming from it's basically like an apron that they'll wear. Like, I don't see why that couldn't just be tucked in the belt or something. I don't get them having the bit of cloth there. It feels weird to me.
Yeah.
But that's probably just because I'm so used to ones that have them just come from the belt. Chaos still do.
I mean, I do love a loincloth, but yeah, it kind of looks like it would be a real bugger to get like a proper like airtight seal in the armor when there's
yeah, you think.
Well, are the top plates like that? Are they the airtight seal, or is it the rubber undersuit that's the airtight seal?
Maybe it's the rubber undersuit. I think because the plates are like maglocked on, aren't they? So
see, the his chest is much broader. The armor plate is broader, and he's got the tilt shield. Let's have a look at the previous one. He doesn't have the tilt shield. He looks like he could twirl that blade with his eyes shut. You know, it looks like he's got that flexibility with that weapon to fight like he's not wearing any armor at all. Whereas here, it looks like he's going to struggle with like some overhead strikes.
Yeah, could be. There is a lot of heavy armor around the top part.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them both. They're both cool.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yep.
Khosrow Khan. I love this model. I absolutely love this one. I really wish I could have grabbed it when it was still.
Now, I don't know a lot about this character, but I know he's famous in the lore, like obviously as a White Scar, has a bike. Did he ever have a model on a bike, or is there two models on foot?
I don't think that. I think that there was a. In fact, it's on the made to order now. There is a White Scar Khan on bike, and I think a lot of people did some conversion work. And you could take him in the Codex, at least in 7th edition. I think you could, and it might have been into 8th until like the Space Marines got their new supplements and stuff. But yeah, you did have the.
Hey, I think I smell something burning. I'll be right back.
Oh, we're losing Peter for a second, but yeah.
Yeah, there was the option in the Codex to take him on a bike, but there wasn't a model for it. This was before GW did their sort of big clear out of what they sold being in the Codex, and what they didn't actually have a active model for was removed from the Codex. So yeah, but I love the expression on the face.
It's a good one.
because in the lore, white scars take incredible joy in just charging into battle, like rather than like the sort of stoic expression of like an ultramarine or an imperial fist or a dark angel or a black templar or whatever. They are known for laughing as they charge into battle.
That's pretty badass. Is your house burning down, Peter?
Sorry about that. No, I was late getting dinner ready. I put the food in with the timer to switch it off after 20 minutes. I usually cook it for 30. I'll switch it off after 20. It'll be fine. And I'll finish it. Nope, it looks like it's been in there long enough. It's a bit crispy, but it's not burnt. It's not going to get any worse.
It's still crispy. It's still good.
It's the pizza's orange all over rather than having separate colors for the cheese and the pepperoni
that's
parts.
Fine then. So long as it's not like brown or black all over, that's
it'll be fine. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are.
If you want to see my pizzas, follow me on Instagram. Follow us all on Instagram.
Do that thing. Yeah, so let's see the new Corsaro then.
Okay, now this is one that I know quite well because you bought me that for my birthday last year.
Bird. Bird has eye bionics!
Yeah, it's such a cool bird. I love that detail. His sword's very awesome too.
It is.
He didn't have a pony sword on the old model, did he? Did he have 3 tassels? Did he have... He has more tassels. He has a pony on his sword.
He's holding the severed head as opposed to like keeping it strapped to his belt, which feels a little more white scars.
Yeah,
he's gone from this is more of a commanding pose where he's cut the head off and he's caught his bird and he's thinking everything over while looking inspiring.
I like to call this one the Chad Corsaro.
Yeah.
The Chad Corsara. What's the Corsara bit?
That's his name.
Oh.
Corsaro Khan. He is the captain of the 3rd company of the White Scars, but because the chapter master himself is basically unable to, he's like...
This isn't the Primarch.
No, he is...
No, not
He is essentially the acting Great Khan of the White Scars. So yeah, he's still technically a captain, but he has the authority of a chapter master. So
interesting tidbit. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be painting this guy up pretty soon when I get round to doing my speed paint 2,000 points of White Scars.
Look forward to that one.
Yeah, but yeah, I do love this model. The only thing that I have a complaint about, and it's the same as the complaint for the previous one, he should be on a bike. I mean, there is a White Scars Battle Force that came out, and it was like 2 squads of Outriders.
Everything on a bike. And just like running behind, like, guys, keep up, wait for me.
Yeah.
Look, he's standing on a tactical rock, squinting, and he's like, "Okay, bird, turn on your eye. Tell me what's happening."
No, the bird looks serious. The bird is the
bird is the word.
Yeah, I think he counts as a ranged weapon, in the current data slate. So yeah, it's like go claw that thing's eyes out, and he just goes and claws the thing's eyes out.
It's one of the Borderlands games you could play with a character whose like superpower was his bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I do love the falconry gauntlet he's got. Like the claws would go through regular power armor.
Nice.
So he's got a gauntlet.
But yeah, I like both of these models. I think they're both good. New one's just brilliant, and the old one's like classic.
Yeah, that laughing face is it's badass and a little bit terrifying at the same time, which is exactly the right tone for the White Scars.
Yeah.
I think you're moving away from your microphone because your voice is coming in and out.
You did go very quiet for a minute there.
Okay. Right, the microphone's a bit knackered, but yeah. I said words.
Cool.
Yeah, we heard
Yeah.
them. It was getting.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Shall we? Am I okay now?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We shall move on.
Am I okay to make my brainwashing and furries comment?
I mean, he was there before I was in the. He was an old model, relatively speaking, when I first got into the hobby. So
he'd been out for a couple of years when I did. I know that. It was one of the first characters that I bought. Very cool.
He's got the flat thing, but he's almost got he's going for a sort of goblin pose, so that works for him as a flat model with the goblin pose.
Yeah, and he's got those those teeth on the bottom of his boots, which is just peak late rogue trader / early second ed.
I thought that was like tactical bicycle chain instead of tactical rock or something.
It's quality. The proportions are very strange, but like this was the classic.
I think they work.
This was the classic Space Marine, and it works.
Yeah.
It works. It's like the big head, absolutely massive hair.
But the proportions. I mean, obviously, like the armor's chunky around the shoulders, but the proportions are almost normal human.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like a proportionately sized head, whereas they tend to start shrinking the heads as the range moves along.
That to me is a massive head, like not ridiculously huge, but it's verging on it, I'd say.
Yeah,
like
it's puppy proportions, but it's
what you could do with the materials, and it's a fantastic looking model for it.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he
would have had a separately sculpted backpack, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I mean, this is like a later paint job, whereas like the previous version, he did have like two like V-shaped banner poles.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
and he was painted blonde as well in the
originals.
Yeah, but I mean, this was.
Oh no, sorry, no. He was meant to be painted blonde, I think, and he's given black hair in that because the black mane refers to like the pelt he wears rather than his hair.
Yeah.
So he's actually blonde in the later one.
Yeah. Now, the fact that this was the Ragnar Black mane model from like 1990, 91, maybe 92. Obviously it was early second ed if it wasn't late rogue trader, but this was the current model for Ragnar Blackmane up until I think it was about 3 years ago, just like with Mephiston.
I think he came out a bit before Mephiston, maybe the year before.
Yeah, he came out in that box set where it was him versus the new Gaz.
Yes,
which was. I don't know why they did that, but okay.
I think that was 2019. I'm not entirely sure.
You want me to check?
Go on then, check.
While he's doing that,
shall we?
2020 for Ragnar Blackmane.
Oh, it was also 2020. Okay, then fair enough. Let's see the glow up.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those poses.
Ignore everything I just said. Did I get that confused? I could have sworn this was blonde. I've messed up.
No, he was blonde in the original images in the codex.
But
then at some point,
at
some point,
I'm an idiot.
They switched him over to black hair for some reason. But
don't be mean to my friend. Don't call my friend an idiot.
I got it the wrong way around. Apologies, folks.
Oh, don't worry. You just had me thinking I'd gone insane. But the pose is a bit too in between poses for me. I mean, it's got a great sense of movement, but it's it's like the camera clicked like a second too late.
Okay, I can say this on two levels actually. One is it is a fantastic model.
Yeah.
And the pose and the proportions of everything are absolutely perfect for painting. But As Ragnar Blackmane, I just don't feel it. I miss the original model.
Yeah.
I look at this and wonder if he was posed like this so that he looks like he's jumping up in the air to twat Gaskell, because Gaskell's a huge model.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been the intention. Who knows what they were thinking? Probably just make him bigger.
Now that I know he's got spiky little boots, I'm happy to see that he's still got the spiky little boots.
Yeah.
See, I think that if I had this model, I would angle his head so he's like looking down, because this looks like he's jumping upwards, but he's looking ahead at something. Whereas if he was like looking down, it would be him like jumping off of a piece of like tactical scenery to bring that blade down on an enemy, as opposed to at the moment where he's sort of like looking at something at eye level that he's gonna.
Yeah, it is designed to be facing off with a big model. Looking, his eye levels all messed up for regular infantry, but yeah, it's like a display piece basically.
Yeah.
It's got a great kind of atmosphere for that. I just don't feel him for Ragnar Blackmane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love the model. Yeah. I hope they do a Njal Stormcaller now they're doing the new Terminators.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
They kind of don't have to like put a lot of characters like over the Rubicon now, because Terminator armor is now for Primaris. So
don't Primaris dreadnoughts burn out the pods much quicker?
Well, they're saying that's in the lore, I think, but
so if they put
whether they'll keep on that.
Maybe, but I mean, if they put a what's his name into a Terminator dreadnought, he'd be gone sooner. So that's an excuse to keep him as an
Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought Stormclaw was the dreadnought.
No, Nigel Stormclaw is the guy with the hawk.
He's the
crow,
chief librarian.
He's the
with the Cyber Raven.
Oh.
He's the guy. He's got like a Nev type beard, which is like an in-joke because none of you have seen our Nev, but he's got an amazing, like, really like big black beard. So yeah, I always think of. I even gifted him my copy of my version of the original Njal Stormcaller.
I'm poking through it, and there's a bunch. Space Wolves have a lot of interesting characters.
They do.
Oh god, yeah. Most of them came out in second edition, or at least like the early batch of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bjorn got an update, and Ulrich the Slayer got an update as well, not long before 8th landed. So.
Yes, I remember that. It was. I think it was about the time that all the Thousand Suns stuff dropped.
Yeah.
In the Gathering Storm.
Yeah, it was around that time. The new Ulrich the Slayer looks amazing. I say new. It was like 6-7 years ago, but the latest one is like a fantastic one. But I mean, I think he will look fine in any like Primaris Space Wolf army.
Oh yeah.
Because like the later firstborns tended to be to a slightly larger scale, like the Deathwatch veterans kit. Yeah, they are a little bit taller. Yeah, obviously they're not Primaris proportions because
that was when
Primaris
scale creep had already begun.
Yeah. Yeah. Shall we move on from the okay, but not Ragnar? Okay. Kavan Shrike.
Hey.
He was in this incarnation the like a Raven Guard captain, but when he went up the Primaris route, he became the chapter master. So not only does he get a new model, he got a promotion in game.
I will say that black and white paint job is a bit basic. I think the white is just like fairly much a solid colour. I can't see with just like black lining.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of shading around the edges, but yeah.
I was trying to work out if that was actually some shading or just literally actual shadow, but I think it is a tiny bit of shading.
Yeah. I mean,
He looks like he's at a party. He's dancing. Like,
yeah.
It's not my favourite of the old ones, I'll say that, but it's a nice enough model.
I mean, for a Space Marine captain released in the era, I think this is like another 3rd edition, maybe 4th model.
Yeah.
As a Space Marine captain, grand. As a chapter master, though, he needs a little bit. He needs a little bit more of that. He's got his emo fringe. He's like had his. God, yeah. The last time I saw exhausts like that, it was at like a chabby meetup in the in the Stevenage Leisure Park car park, doing donuts in their dad's XRIs and.
Oh dear.
I mean, this is definitely the biggest change, I think, between this model and the previous.
Yeah, he's given a tactical bunker to stand on. I mean, that's cool. Forget a rock, he gets the whole bunker just to make sure you know this guy is the boss guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's also in Phobos armor as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not particularly my favourite type of armor, but
no, it looks like he's wearing like capri pants.
Yeah, it's got a cool look for it that kind of suits him, but like that armor in general, I don't think I'm too keen on.
No, I'm not. I mean, if the only problem I really have with it is the armor cutout around the calves. But that is a big thing. And it's my only complaint, but it's quite a big thing.
It's swaggy.
I want to be grumpy about his face being exposed, but I'm not.
Well, the thing is, he's got a tactical fringe, you see.
Yeah.
Tactical
I really am not. It's fine. I'm not mad about it.
But yeah, how emo is he? That he's got a face mask and a full helmet to put on top of that face mask.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's very much a hat on a hat, or quite almost literally a hat on a hat.
It is. He's such a badass, this model. I love the lightning claws, like his own personal style and that.
Yeah.
Just really good.
Yeah. I mean, like the retractable nature of the claws. It's just fantastic. I mean, I don't think it's a build option, but I would have loved the build option to have like the claws deployed. That would have been
claws deployed, pistol on wrist, pistol on waist, helmet on head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like it's not difficult to do like with conversion work. Speaking like I'm actually going to buy this guy and start a Raven Guard army. I had a hard enough time.
You don't have to buy that guy to start a Raven. You don't have to start a Raven Guard army to paint a single model. You can just get a model and paint it. You know, like an adult.
No, I'm not an adult.
Oh dear.
Okay, right. Moving on. Tiggy #1, Tagirius. I love this model. This is my current model for Tagirius. I still have this one, and he's on like a 40mm base, and I've given him like a more of a grim darky sort of paint job. But this model is like my peak Tagirius. It's I'm pretty sure it's a Jez Goodwin one, and anything that Jez Goodwin.
That first Ultramarines book and the models that came out with it was basically like Jez Goodwin takes Space Marines to the next level.
Yeah.
This model looks so old, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the backpack, it's like a one-piece mold.
Yeah.
But it works. It's like he's got the pistol, but he doesn't need to use the pistol because he's Tagirius and he can melt your brain from like 100 miles away. Love
It's
it.
a classic. It's a classic. Definitely very old looking,
Yeah.
but
But it also
none
it's
the
one of
worse
those
for it.
it's one of those sculpts that takes newer paint styles really well.
Yeah, I've seen some versions of this one lately.
Yeah. Well, shall we move on and see what came next?
Yep.
I
Oh,
don't
the
like this
mid-tier
one. I don't like this one.
one.
He doesn't need his gun.
He looks like he's taking a very painful shit.
It does. And what happened to the end of his staff? Like it's like
The
he got
wings
knocked
flew
off.
away. They decided to pursue their dreams and become free.
Yeah. I mean, he should be leading with the staff. He's Tigurius. He's the chief librarian of the Ultramarines.
The other one wasn't leading with the staff.
No, he was leading with his like steely expression. It's like, yeah, staff in the air, eyes burning holes in someone's brain. Whereas, oh, hang on. But yeah, that is constipation whilst trying to aim a pistol at something.
This is a terrible Primaris model.
It is not a Primaris model.
I know, it's that bad. Yeah. We may as well just say it's not a Primaris model. We could even say it's a fine cast model.
Yeah. See, back when I sort of got back into it and I was looking at, I took stock of what I had left over from like, second, third edition. And I thought, oh, well, there's the Terminator Manius Calgar, which, yeah, we'll come to. But it's like, oh, there's a new Tigurius. Why, if he's newer, why doesn't he look as good as the old Tigurius? So I kept my old Tigurius. But yeah,
that is fair.
This was about for a while, and I mean, as if it was just a normal librarian, it would be fine. But it's Tiggy. Tiggy needs presence, and this guy doesn't have it. This version, though.
Oh yeah, that is nice.
Rock.
Very smooth.
And he's got a book.
He's got a book. He's got his staff looks a bit better as well.
The first one had a book. I don't see a book on the second one. He did have a scroll, but he didn't have a book.
No, see, book on the hip.
Yeah. Scrolls, books.
Book.
Yeah. Things I've got this one. I love his leather gloves as well. Like, it's purely. It's like on the Sisters of Battle as well. They've got like the leather gloves over their power armor. It's just one of those little things in 40k that's just rule of cool.
The Fiston is as well has very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got like the embossed backpack or the relief backpack, so you can actually paint stuff on without having to either freehand or whatever, which is always handy. And yeah, I mean, he's not overly embellished.
Yeah, he's just remarkably kind of clean and just really bold colours on this paint job.
Yeah,
I mean, really like that the colors on the banner basically look like that old 90s. Yeah, everything is yellow style.
Yeah. I mean, if we go back, it's essentially like taking that up to another level. There's the I love the banding.
They don't have to keep everything, but it's cute when they find something that's amusing to keep.
Yeah. See, he's got like the scrolls hanging over his crotch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sort of
scrolled him.
But yeah, this guy has got the expression on his face of, I'm going to brainfuck the entire Tyranid.
I have a headache and I'm about to make it your problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
very cool.
On to Manius Calgar. Now,
I'm saying about characters that looked like they were taking a violent shit.
Yeah, Manius Calgar on the toilet. Although technically, I think he's actually been retconned as Manius Calgar, because when the model was released, it was labeled as Lord Macragge.
Yes, that was originally on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Marnius Calgar is Lord Macragge, but this was before like the character had a name, and but yeah, he is on the. Obviously he needs a bolt gun next to him in case he needs to clear himself out.
Yeah, I'm just gutted he hasn't got the dinosaurs next to him like in the old art.
I'm just wondering what this guy over here's job is whilst he's sat on the toilet.
Yeah.
Is it like the sort of groom of the stool type position?
You've seen this armor, right? You've seen how it restricts movement. In fact, you can see those power fists.
Yeah.
That guy, if you look, has a filthy right hand because his job is to wipe.
Oh dear.
And if it gets stuck, he has to pull it out like a rope. I am wondering how that helmet would fit over his head.
With the helmet has some fringe as well. It'll be like when you put helmets on like dolls and the head's made of rubber and it gets a little bit squishy.
Yeah, it's like golden laurels on the helmet, which is fine, but they appear to be on backwards.
Yeah, I really like the robe one. That's such a cool image, like robe and beaky head. But
yeah.
Oh dear, this is just a comic piece now.
It is hilarious. He doesn't even have bolt guns on the gauntlets of Ultramar. So yeah, that poor dude standing there. He's kept his helmet on because it fucking stinks. Okay, so let's move on. Now this one,
classic pose.
This is as cool as the next one is. This is peak Marnius Calgar for me. This is like the first named character I ever bought. It's like his model was like showcased in White Dwarf, and I immediately pestered my parents to take me along with them to St Albans, which is our nearest Games Workshop store, it's still there. And I just had to get this guy. I love the model, and the paint job that's done here. This is another of those models that takes a more modern style paint job really well.
Now, as a certified Smurf hater, it's my job to mock this guy mercilessly. But I will say this is a damn fine model, even if he's not my favorite character.
Yeah, this is just
this
classic.
Is like a definitive.
Yeah, and this came out the same time as Mephiston and Dante and the others, but the fact that he's not like one or like a one-piece model, or like mainly he is a three-piece model. It's the right arm, the backpack, and the body, but the way that they posed him, it gives him like a little bit more like a three-dimensional.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
He looks like he is striding forward. Obviously he is striding forward, going to punch someone, but you can see like that weight on his right foot. There's a dynamism to the pose that some of the others were kind of lacking. He looks weighty, but he looks like he's moving.
Yeah.
And yeah. This is design classic for me. This is
definitely
my favorite iteration of Calgar. The others are good as well, but this is the one that makes me happy.
So what became of him then?
Well, he got some mates and some Terminator arm. I couldn't actually find a better image of the retinue, but it was this was a kit that he came with. He's got the chapter banner, chapter champion, and a couple of
I had completely forgotten about this version, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. But yeah, he looks great. He's got that sort of striding forward.
He deserves a flag. I like that he has a flag.
He was capable of carrying his own flag back in the day, but no, he's got a dude to do it now.
Got a lot more bling on this one.
Yeah.
He is really like.
This is like a I think this is 4th edition. But when I got back into the hobby, 10 years ago, the previous one was still available as a Finecast version, and he was still in the Codex as Marnius Calgart in Artificer armor.
Yeah.
Or you could get this one, which was by that point Finecast as well, but originally was a.
Hey, maybe you'll get a
metal
new
kit.
Terminator armor one now. That's
now that they didn't need to Primarisify him. Yeah. See, I'm hoping that they do release an actual proper version of Captain Agaman, who's the captain of the Ultramarines' first company. And I think this suit of armor is called the Armor of Heracles or something like that. I would love to see Agaman wearing that as like
nice.
Yeah. It is an awesome suit of. Part of me has been tempted to grab a hold of this and replace the Power Fist with like a Stormbolter and Relic Blade and actually play it as Agaman, because it's.
Yeah.
I like stuff. Ultramarines, they get a lot of stuff by default, but they don't really get a lot of like Ultramarine specific stuff. It's.
Yeah, you just get the generic.
Yeah. Which can be a little annoying. I mean, but yeah, this whole squad, I just never really had enough money to pick it up when I was in GW, because I was in there to buy something else, and I didn't have the spare cash to spend 35 quid on a load of Finecast that would probably make me like hate the models. But yeah, so that was him for quite some time. Up until, and there he is.
Hey, I got that one.
And he's
what's he stepping on?
That is a Tyranid head.
Oh, that can't be a Tyranid head. We didn't have any new Tyranids until this edition.
See his face, he's gone very sort of Rush Limbaugh on a.
Yeah, he is.
He has Gammonified since the previous model.
Yeah,
he's standing there,
expanded in that kind of jowly way.
Yeah, someone's like told them their preferred pronouns, and he's losing his shit over it.
I think this is largely because of GW's method of painting faces, that those lines are so deep. Perhaps like if they weren't quite like that, his face wouldn't look quite so baggy. But
yeah, I mean, the way I painted mine, he doesn't look that baggy. But then this is a much cleaner and crisper paint job than I'm capable of.
Yes,
so
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's still got some mates with him, which is really cool.
I do like the guards now. Although like the face things are just like the thing that puts it into ridiculousness for me. Which I suppose is pretty 40k, but
yeah, I mean, if you see that the the two guys, I'm just sad that they don't have the Ultramarine style axes. I mean, the power swords look cool, but axes would just look so much cooler. But yeah, this
mint shields.
Yeah. Now this model obviously harkens back to that classic second edition one. It's pretty much identical, but with the armor.
Yeah.
Just scaled up and getting the Primaris hallmarks, but
I do like some Primaris hallmarks of just like there is extra armor plating to cover all those kind of like gaps that have been there before, and to actually make it make sense. I do like those layers.
And the fact that he's in Gravis armor as well, it gives him like the same chunkiness as the Terminator one, but he's also got a lot more movement in with those armor plates, those overlapping plates, which looks really, really cool. I do love this. Like I say, the face is very much, angry man shouts at cloud type thing. But he comes with the option for a helmet as well. So yeah. Now that, I believe, is the last one. So what are people thinking for their favourites?
I know Mephiston for me.
Okay, wait.
Okay, let's find Mephiston. Well, there's a lot of them, right? There we go. Yeah, Mephiston. Looking resplendent with his yellow tubes.
Yeah, just like the perfect model, the perfect glow up from a great original model that was kind of like losing a little bit of its charm over the years, or if not its charm, like it's like getting outdated.
It's showing the limitations of the technology that made it.
That's what I'm after. But this is just perfect. It takes that model, but also that classic Mark Gibbons artwork, and just perfectly recreates it. It's just a stunning piece, and someday I will get around to painting him.
Yeah, he's amazing. Pete, what are you thinking?
So if I could only pick, so if they're all going to go back to the way they were, except for one, I would say keep Grimaldus the way he is. I mean, okay, I'd say keep Marius Calgar the way he, not Grimaldus, sorry, Helbrick. Keep Helbrick the way he is if you're only going to keep one. Actually, no, I'd keep Marius the way he is because he looks stupid on the toilet, but there's no way they're ever going to go back to the toilet.
I mean, it would be cool if they did like an anniversary like model, which was Calgar as he is now sat upon the throne of Macragge. That would be a really, really cool one. But they'd probably go for more like Guilliman. But yeah, for me, the best glow up I strongly feel is Khan. I love that model. The fact that he's sort of standing there overlooking the battle, but still has that sense of movement in him, which is just core to the identity of a White Scar.
Yeah.
Now, if we were picking missed opportunities for improvement, I would pick this guy and say they should have put him on a bike.
Ah, well.
I would love to see him on a bike. I would buy him. Well, I didn't buy him the first time. It was a present from Amy. But I would pay good money to be able to choose between having him on foot and having him on a bike. Because he's a White Scar. That's the only issue. He's a White Scar. He should have the option of a bike.
Or maybe not a bike. We've established that the head of the Imperial Guard has a pony, has a robot pony, right? Why couldn't the head of the White Scars have like a big armored Clydesdale thing with extra legs?
I would be terrified to see the size of the horse that could bear a Space Marine in power armor.
6-legged pony. Give it fangs, like those deer with fangs.
There's a reason only blood crushers and wolves the size of, I don't even know, something of a truck, of the only Space Marine cavalry.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love him in a bike.
The mid legs as like tiny little legs between the other ones that are really only used for pushing them and navigating when the other legs have launched them into the air mid-stride.
Yeah, some kind of like centaur, maybe.
Yep. Well, this has been fun.
It has been fun. Maybe next time, Amy, do you want to put together a list of like Chaos characters who've been upgraded over the years, and we could have a rate of them?
I'm sure we can discuss this later. Let's wrap it up for now, but that would be an interesting idea for soon.
Yep. Okay, so just wrapping up, what are people working on at the moment that's coming up on the channel next?
I've really got to do the Clown Goblin video.
My holiday painting video is coming soon.
Nice.
Yes.
My next video will be a Deathwing Spartan with some 3D printed embellishments. So anyway, we shall go and crack on with those things, and
yep,
we shall catch you all next time on Bleeding Tree Gaming.
See you around.
Bye-bye.
Bye.